All right. Yep.
Morning, Rotary. Today is a great day to remember all the souls and ancestors throughout this week that have brought the great wonders and blessings in your life.
Thank you, Madam President. What a great day to be at a Rotary meeting this morning. Beautiful day, fall's coming, weather's a little cooler. And next week, is it time change? This morning, let's look in Proverbs 10:19. It says, don't talk so much. Keep putting your foot in your mouth, be sensible, and turn off the flow. And with that, I'd like to remind you of a novelist. He was a blockbuster novelist, and it was John Grisham. And he had movies made from his books. And most of the time, it's including sleazy lawyers, corrupt politicians, trigger-happy officers, and but he never used any profanity or graphic definitions in his book. And even in one, I think it was the client, the hero in it was an 11-year-old boy. And he made the comment that I will never write a book that would embarrass my mother or my children. And when he started as a novelist, his publisher would tell him that that's not possible for you to be successful. But he wrote a book that's firm, and there's 17 million copies. And so the final statement on this, do you have to be worldly to be successful? No. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for your word. We thank you for the freshness of your word. Father, we thank you for the depth of the word. And Father, we just thank you for the opportunity we have in this free country to worship the way that we choose. And Father, we just thank you for this Rotary Club, what it not only means in Irving, Texas, but what Rotarians around the world are doing to help those that are less fortunate. Father, we thank you for our program this morning. Just pray that we'll be attentive and we'll have a takeaway from this, that we will make us better and we can help make this world better. Father, be with our officers, may they continue to direct us and lead us, and we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
At this time, Oscar Ward, our councilman this morning, will lead us in the pledge.
Please stand and join me in pledge allegiance to our flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Do you have any brags this morning? Before we do announcements? Any announcements then? Ken, are you gonna get us first? All right.
Well, some maple tree information. So for those of you not familiar with this, Salvation Army has done this for a number of years now. It's for underprivileged kids in the area, kids that aren't going to have a Christmas or past have gone because of the pandemic. But they set up a big tree in the wall. There are the kids' names on the and the toys that they were. Pick an angel off of the tree, they go shop, they bring the gifts back. You as a volunteer would be sitting at a table or we get everything together, package it up, send it. And then later, so on your table, there's two forms. These are not the same. Okay? One is for when the people come in and pick the angels out at the mall, and that would be at the mall. And it looks like this year, in the past one, we've done like 4 or 5. When I looked at it this time, it looks like there's just 2 volunteers per time slot. So if you want to do this, get with one of your Rotary partners here or somebody else, friend or whatever, you can volunteer. There's sign-up times on there. If you want me to sign you up, let me know. I can do that. You can go to the website probably and also do it yourself and just make sure when you get there, tell me what the Rotary Club. The second portion of it is later on when they bring the gifts back. And there it looks like on that one, they're looking for a larger number of volunteers, anywhere from 10 to 30. But there's only a few slots available. It's December 3rd, December 4th. That's a Friday and a Saturday. So we go as a larger during that time. And if you want to do that again, let me know and I can try to coordinate it to get everything signed up. So I've left these on your tables. If you want to do it, you want to put your name on there, and I can sign you up, let me know, and I'll pick them up at the end of the meeting. And then we can help out some kids that otherwise wouldn't have much of a holiday season. Thanks. No, this is Galleria. And then I'm going to go Galleria and one bigger Galleria.
So on top of that, if anyone is interested in doing a Saturday as a group, I see a group of 15 needed on Saturday, December 4th. I'm in for December 4th, 1,400 people want to get it, you're in, okay, great.
Guys, that's distribution.
Yeah. There's 2 slots that day. There's 11 to 3 or 2:30 to 6. I'm here.
11 and 3 works for us. Everybody else wants to join in.
I think,
Awesome, thanks.
That's the morning of the Christmas party.
yes, and I drive Santa.
That's a busy morning.
All right, any other announcements? I know a lot of us are tying up. Your tags, right? Tying them up. I'm watching you.
There is another announcement over there.
Oh,
Sorry, just real quick. I gotta say, so a little bit of bad news. I got an email from Larry Leon. Larry's decided to resign from the club. He has moved up to Plano, I guess, when he got married with his wife, and he said the drive was just difficult. He's probably gonna join the club up there. So, yeah, unfortunately, we're gonna lose a very good member. So.
Yeah. We're gonna.
That. Oh, yeah. You can just play it first.
Okay. This is what we wanted to play you guys a trailer that was made for the upcoming main stage for the University of Dallas Drama Department for our Comedy Bears production.
And I'm Sebastian Lozano. And wait. Oh, wait. I'm Charlie Spurt. And I'm Sebastian Lozano. And we're putting on the Comedy of Errors at the University of Dallas at the Orpheon Theater. We'll be performing from October 28th to November 7th. And showtime begins at 8 o'clock, am I correct? Yes, and we won't be having a performance on Monday, November 1st. Yes, we will not be having a performance on Monday, November 1st. And we'll see you back in the saddle. It's a song. I thought it was back in the saddle. That was the trick. Is that how it goes? Well, most people see, people will understand more from the trail. Where you're from. Sorry, yeah. And I'm Sebastian Lozano. And
So it's a little bit of a trailer for the show. We open tonight at 8 p.m. And then we run for 11 days. We have shows every night for 11 days. So it's a big project, but after a long time, it's kind of finally coming to fruition. Now, the exciting part of this is that on Saturday, Charlie and Thomas, two of the Rotaract members, are leading a fundraiser / party that we're throwing, like a tailgate for the performance on Saturday night. It's going to begin at 7. We're going to be selling hot dogs out there, and we'd love for any of you, if any of you want to come out, enjoy the show, maybe get a hot dog or something. We would love to have you there. It's going to be a really cool show. It's like Shakespeare in the Park. Just bring a blanket. I had a conversation with the director last night, and he said, I asked him if it was BYOB, and he said, don't let me see it, but bring whatever you want. so that's the operative rule right now. So if you want to bring beer or wine, that should be fine. And then we'll be selling hot dogs. But it starts at 8 o'clock. We can send details over so we can kind of spread it around the club. But we would love to see you guys there. It's right next to the College of Business, SB Hall. So we can send that in an email, kind of directions to get to the place. But it's pretty large stage, so you should be able to see it when you show up. Yeah.
Okay, for those that have never been to a play at UD,
You'll start.
Do I have a what?
He's gonna introduce.
I can do the introduction. Yeah. Okay.
I have an
Okay.
First off, I want to thank you for helping with the dog tags. We still have more if you want to continue. There are that back table over there. And that's our priority. One of the things that we need, this is our Santa suit. So we have a camouflage Santa suit to go with our face of free. We're also looking for somebody to volunteer to wear the Santa suit. I've got a couple pair of pants with it now. We can come by the store, get whatever fits you. And we have jump suits there too that you can wear. So anybody who would like to volunteer, and this includes Rotaracts, we would love to have you. We're also going to start working on the ornaments for veterans. So who's a veteran in this room? Okay, I've got your picture. We just have 2. Okay, I'll get your picture afterwards. We're taking pictures. You don't have to send your official military picture. But if you just have a picture of that person, all we need to know is their name and what service they were in. So people are stopping by our store and see you in their pictures there. So we've got about 25 right now. Our goal is 70 by November 14th. And Charlie, would you mind, whenever you have any activities going on, would you send a notice to Michael and he will put it on our calendar? And that way we can always go to our calendar and know what's going on with y'all. Okay? Other than that, happy Halloween. And we have an amazing speaker. I am so glad. Michael introduced me to him, and he will be introducing our speaker.
Thank you, Madam President. Today our speaker is named Blake Lindsay. He's the manager of outreach with Envision Dallas. Totally blind since infancy, from retoplasmoda. I'm probably saying that wrong. There you go. A cancer condition.
Sounds like dynamite, doesn't it?
Lindsay offers a unique perspective on all aspects of Envision outreach programs. Blake is a well-known voice talent in Texas, Kansas, and Indiana, radio stations, and manages his own production company, Blazing Blake Productions. He produces nationwide radio and TV commercials and specializes in branding for businesses. Blake has also authored 2 books, Out of Sight Living, A Sightless Person with Pure Vision, as well as Blind for a Purpose, Turning Life Challenges into Purpose in Life. Prior to joining Envision Dallas, Lindsay worked with Zig Ziglar Corporation, the Dallas Area Rapid Transit, and Bank of America. He also attended Brookhaven Community College and Farmers Branch. Today, he's going to be talking to us a little bit about people's perceptions of blindness today. So please welcome
Blake and Lindsay.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I bet you that I'm the only one in here that can truly spell Mississippi with no I's today.
Oh.
More skill you're gonna hear all day, I hope. But I am certainly glad to be here. It's been about 7 years since I've got to speak to this wonderful Rotary, and I'm so glad the University of Dallas is here today, like 10 students. I think that's really incredible to get up that early, and Charlie, it was good to hear from you, what you guys are gonna be doing, good communication. Oh, wow. It's just a great day to be alive and to be here at your Rotary meeting today. I've got so much respect for Rotarians, and I know Governor Max got to be here a couple of months ago and was very inspired by her. So I want to tell you what it's like to be blind. It's not as bad as a lot of people think. I've been blind since I was 9 months old, and I had read the blastoma. That is difficult to say. Sounds like dynamite a little bit. But Mom and Dad noticed that my eyes were looking unhealthy, so they began taking me to various doctors, and nobody really had the right answer until the right time. I tell you what, they were prayerful about it, and they got me to a doctor that said, Blake's got retinoblastoma, and we got to get this cancer out to save his life. So they saved my life, they couldn't save my sight, but I tell you what, I've lived an out-of-sight life all the way, and it's been a fun life. I've lived a full life. I've had jobs ever since I was 17 years old. Being a blind broadcaster, I got to meet all kinds of people and be inspired by Zig Ziglar. It was so much fun working with Zig, and he really walked the walk. He was the one guy that I got to work with. I saw him go through trials, and how he handled them really inspired me to try to be as much the same as possible. It's easy to say we want to be like Jesus, but to really follow that pattern is kind of tough sometimes. So Rotarians are just a wonderful group, and it's an honor to be here today. I want to thank my friend Brian Smoot for being here with me today. He's going to take me back to work, and he's here to join me, and took me up here a little while ago. But I want to tell you about what it's like to be blind. It's really been very interesting because it's become a gift of mine. When I worked at Bank of America for 7 years, and when I worked with Dallas Area Rapid Transit, I had an opportunity to inspire people like I thought I never would be able to do before. And just everyday things, just doing my job well, showing up to work, having a good day, and people would come around and see my Braille equipment and everything that was, very inspirational with the Braille, power Braille that I use at the bank. They'd come by and say, man, I just, it eliminates my excuses. And so that's kind of been my life. Really, when I was 15 years old, I got into broadcasting. And when I went to broadcast school, same thing. They watched me run my own equipment, big smile on my face. I was finally on the air everywhere and enjoying life and doing my dream job. And it was just really incredible to see how people responded to that, and how they wanted to improve their own life and eliminate excuses. So people that lose their sight later in life, this is where I work, Envision, Dallas, former Lighthouse for the Blind. A lot of you have probably heard from your grandparents and different people, maybe your parents, on how we used to go door to door. This is back before I got here, of course, but back the 50s through the late 80s, we actually went door to door with our products. And so everybody in town knew who the Dallas Lighthouse for the Blind was. We had a chance to really go sell all of our products. At that time, we were making anything from dustpans, we were making mops and brooms and just household products, even clocks and different things. And so we would go door to door and do that. And then we kind of lost that branding because that went away. The door to door thing went away pretty much in the 90s. And now we are back because about 3.5 years ago, some friends of mine in Wichita, a company called Envision Inc., actually acquired us. And they were doing an incredible job in Kansas for people who were blind and visually impaired. And they knew that there was a lot of life to be had in Dallas, and so they took us over again. And the last 3.5 years have just been unbelievable success with our programs and our services and our increasing manufacturing. I can hardly wait to have some of you come over to Envision Dallas and see what we do. Because you're going to see some amazing stuff happen in manufacturing. We make all kinds of things for military, but we also have commercial products. We work with TxDOT, Texas North Tollway. So we make a whole lot of products that you're going to be able to see. We make about 1 million pens and highlighters every month that are called Skillcraft. That's the name brand of the Skillcraft products. And we primarily sell to government offices, and they're ISO certified and very top notch. And then we also make eyeglass cases for the military. About 1 million a year of those, and Army binders, Navy binders. We're making all kinds of new, they're like certificate holders. But you're going to come see some incredible camaraderie over there, because a lot of people lose their sight later in life, and they think, man, it's the end of the road for me. What am I going to do now? And then they find out about it somehow, whether it's their eye doctor, or they just do some Googling. It's a lot easier to find this now than it ever has been. But they find out about Envision Dallas, former Lighthouse of the Blind, and they usually call me up, and I'm able to talk to them and chat with them about the employment going on over there, and our programs and our services, which will really enlighten them about how to use assistive technology with computers. I use a computer that's got speech software on it, and it works incredibly well. When Michael and I were emailing each other, and Cindy, President Cindy, I was able just to type into my computer regularly like you do, but I was able to hear the speech software come back to me and read me your kind emails. And so life is really good with technology. I'd say since the early 90s, things have been pretty normal for people who are blind. Don't want me to drive, I guarantee you that. Other than that, and self-drive cars, of course, are in motion now. We're going to be looking at that in the next 2 or 3 years. And so I would imagine in 5 to 10 years, it's possible that I could be solo in one of those. And so that will be one of the last 3 things that I haven't gotten to do yet. I have driven a motorcycle on country roads. Whoa. I've been able to water ski and snow ski and skydive. If you go to blindblake.com, you're going to get to see a lot of this stuff. I got an easy Blind Blake. I was looking, for that URL for a long time, that email address, and somebody had it, but they weren't doing anything with it. And I finally got it because it expired, and I grabbed it. I thought, what an easy way to remember, blindblake.com. So I got that, and I get a lot of people that actually punch in, and I'm able to talk with them and inspire them about what it's like to be blind, because there's a lot of people losing their sight later in life from diabetes, macular degeneration, retinitis pigmentosa, even harder to say than retinoblastoma. But there's just a lot of things that are blinding people, but we're able to kind of come to the rescue. When people come out to Envision Dallas, they see a beautiful apartment that's equipped with all kinds of tools for people who are blind, and they don't even know about it. So they get there and have a chance to really feel around and observe how they can modify their own place for independence. And so that's what the apartment is at. And we just got that about 1.5 years ago from the American Foundation for the Blind. We were able to acquire that from them. And so we're kind of a one-stop shop now for employment, education. We've got a low vision clinic that's opening up on Monday. Dr. Carmen is our medical director. Delightful lady that's just really inspiring. And she's been in medical practice for a long time with low vision solutions. And so Envision Dallas has really become the transformation place for a lot of people that are losing their sight later in life. When they get over there and they find out, dang, you guys are pretty happy coming to work every day, and you're able to be employed 40 hours a week with full-time benefits and vacations and sick days if you need them. Hopefully not. We've been COVID-free over there. They were very, very careful the last 19 months to make certain that all protocols were followed, with not only vaccinations, but taking our temperature every day for a good long time. But we haven't had a lot of illness with over 500 associates that work for us nationwide. So it's been and we're also an essential company, making all those military products that I mentioned to you. We're able to stay open, keep our doors open, and do really well. So I hope there's an opportunity for you to come over there and to be inspired. We're always looking for new business, because we have a lot of opportunities to hire new people who are blind. I've actually recruited about 20 people myself in the last year, and that's been the biggest blessing of my job over the past year, is getting people that were out of work into work. Now they get a full-time job with benefits, and it's an amazing place that people are happy. They come to work, and we have an employee appreciation day every year that's very inspirational for everybody. It reminds us all why we're there. And but it's just a great day to be blind. I always tell people, if you got to be blind, now's the best time, because of assistive technology, because of the resources, because of places like Envision Dallas, and people like you, Rotarians, who care about us. And you're doing a lot of good in the community on so many levels. And every time I get to speak to a Rotary group, I just get re-inspired about all the good that you're doing, not only in the local community, but worldwide. And it's just been wonderful to get to know Rotarians and all the impact that you're making. That's what I want to do with my life, is I want to make an impact. It's not bad being blind. I can actually use that. Being blind is a gift, as I mentioned, to inspire other people to be their very best and eliminate those excuses. So I hope you'll come out. I'm the communications and outreach person over there. And I got an easy telephone number to remember if you ever want to call me. It's 420, it's 214 first of all, but 420-9411. So I always tell people the 411 part, because it makes it a little easier. 214-420-9411. So it's a great place to work over there, and I can hardly wait to take you a tour. I promise I won't get you lost. Everybody says, you're a blind tour guide. I don't know about this, but I'm able to take people through, and it's 50,000 square feet that just will really light up your day and make a difference in your life for you to be able to let other people that you might meet in life. I get this a lot. I'll speak to a group of people like you, and then about 6 months later, I'll hear from somebody who says, man, I just met somebody who's losing their sight, and I'm going to send them your way. And that is the biggest gift that I get from getting to speak to you. It's not only the donations that we occasionally get for our services and our programs, but the best thing for me is to be able to change somebody's life who's losing their sight, and they need that inspiration, they need that pickup, and they need to know that their life isn't over, that there's going to be a lot of things that they can still do, and we're going to teach them that brand new way to do those things. I'm going to open it up for questions right now. Anything you want to know about what it's like to be blind, you can ask me anything. I'm used to talking to school students, and they ask all kinds of incredible things. So feel free to just open up and take off the filter and just ask me anything you want to about Envision Dallas as well.
Question?
Yes, we do. There's different forms of blindness. Some people who are legally blind, you can barely tell that they're blind because they have 20/200. So sometimes they can even drive daytime restricted, and it has to be with the right solutions for their sight to be able to see just enough. But in most cases, most of us have less sight than that. 20/200 is legally blind. And then there's different revisions that people have. Sometimes people have tunnel vision, but most of I'd say the average is probably 20/400. So 20/20, it's about 5%. If you have 20/20, it's about 5% of your eyesight. 20/400 is. And so I'm totally blind, but there are definitely some people just have light perception. But the impressive thing is, in our manufacturing area, 83% of us are blind or visually impaired. And one way we do that, we have a guy who I kind of nicknamed MacGyver. This guy's incredible. His name's Luis Vargas. And he's a genius, and he goes around and modifies the equipment with special guards that enable people to work very safely. And we go into a lot of extensive training on safety. That's a big deal over there, because we don't want people getting hurt, of course. And so Luis Vargas goes around, my MacGyver friend, and he puts these great guards on, and he kind of envisions what it's like to be blind, and he shuts his eyes, and it really helps him actually put all that together. And then between the training and the fact that they're guards, efficiency, accuracy, those are key for us. We're ISO certified, so everything that we make over there in manufacturing has to be top notch, and or it'll be sent back to us. And we don't have that many sent backs at all. We've got great on-time delivery, but our manufacturing is just bar none. We do a good job over there.
Like you do speaking, you have a radio program, you've given this program this morning. You must have a terrific memory because you can't put the notes. So how do you do that? How do you train yourself? Hear yourself for presentation.
Well, I think it started out when I was a little boy. I used to remember everybody's telephone number. And I still make myself do that because speed dial, and of course you can put hundreds of numbers in our iPhones, and so it's easier not to do that. But I have forced myself to continue to remember people's telephone numbers. And so that's 10 digits. That's not much there, but it kind of keeps your mind alive. And then I've worked with Envision Dallas, former Lighthouse, now for 12 years. So I know what it's like to be blind, but I also know what it's like to lose your sight later in life. And that's the main thing that I learned when I got there 12 years ago. But I've protected my memory, the various products we make, and it's just, we make anything, from eyeglass cases, like I mentioned, to all kinds of sewing. Wait till you see the sewing center. But we're working on a lot of new projects that are coming soon. And so it just continues to grow for military and for commercial. And people don't know what people who are blind can accomplish until they show up and they see everything in action. And that's when a light goes off and they say, hey, maybe you can do this project. Maybe you can do one of my projects. I've got enough volume here. It all has to work out mathematically. But yeah, my memory has always been engaged. And being blind, you have to be extra organized. I leave things places probably more than the average person, so I try not to do that. I feel the seat when I'm riding an Uber in the morning and make sure that I've got everything, because sometimes I'll take something extra like a braille writer or something. And so you have to be very careful being blind. But with my iPhone, it's been incredible to have this iPhone because it's the best technology that's come out. I guess I left it in my bag, but it's got an app on it that I can read my money with. It's called Money Reader. And it's now a free app. I remember when, like money readers used to cost a few $100s. So when somebody hands me a bill, I can read it with that, and then I organize it in my bill fold, and it holds the fold. I fold everything differently, so it's, being blind, you have to stay extra organized. And I used to allow people to take advantage of me with money. And so when money readers came along, that was just another exciting thing for people who are blind to be able to be independent with. And I don't have to ask my wife, what's this, honey? Is it a 1 or a 20? That's what I used to be silly about asking, well, it's a 1. No, actually, it was a 20, but that doesn't happen anymore. So there's so many things that are encouraging with computers, with iPhones. That's the best piece of technology. If I were single, I'm glad to be married to Jennifer for the last just about 19 years. She can see, so she drives us around and sees well. But if I were single, there are some glasses that I can put on now called Ira glasses, and it doesn't make me see, but what I can do is connect with anybody in the world who's been trained for this company, AIRA. It's an acronym for a company out of Sacramento, California. And these guys can be my eyes all day long. Wow. I can get in a clothes closet and say, does this tie match this shirt? No, but if you go over to your left, just 2 more ties, there you go. They'll do that. Or if I'm walking somewhere, I can say, I'm trying to get to this restaurant. I'm going to turn on my GPS navigator here for you to see. And they'll say, Blake, you're just a block away. And once you walk up 100 yards, you're going to want to kind of start veering to the left a little bit. And so these IRA people are able to be my eyes for me. This was never a reality until about 7 years ago. So things keep improving. Technology is not always a good thing, but I tell you what, a lot of times it certainly is for us. And so it's just making being blind less of a nuisance all the time.
Blake, I had a question about what kind of tips can you give us as we encounter blind people? I mean, sometimes people feel uncomfortable or they don't know how to approach, what to do, kind of the do's and don'ts. What kind of tips?
I would say that if you meet somebody who's blind, Rotarians are so friendly. I love that about you. And I think that just walking up to somebody and introducing yourself and say, hey, I got to meet this blind guy named Blake. And he kind of showed me what it was like to be blind and how to lead people around. I could give you an example after our meeting's over here. I'll show you how to lead somebody around. But the best thing you can do when you see somebody who's blind, occasionally who's a little bit displaced, a little bit disoriented, they can grab their elbow. And if they stay 1 step behind you, it doesn't matter whether it's right or left side of your body here, but if they can grab your elbow, not your hand. If they grab your hand, we're going to get too far apart from each other and I'm going to run into something. But if you walk up to them and just, treat them like an independent person, you want to have a natural conversation, say, sometimes you can say what you're seeing because it's really exciting. When I talk to especially kids and they tell me what things look like in their special way, it makes my imagination just go to town, and then think about what things and people look like and what we're walking by in the shopping streets to familiarize. And so sometimes when people tell you what a beautiful blue sky looks like that day, and just white puffy clouds that look like cotton balls. And they start describing things, blue sky, blue ocean, purple drapes and that kind of thing. But they help me to have a vision of what things look like. Now, if I got my sight back today, I'd probably have to chuckle because nothing would look like I think probably. But it is fun to hear people. And so I always say, just have a natural conversation with that individual. Let them know you care about them like a Rotarian does. And say, hey, if I can help you in any way, just let me know. But I know you're independent, but let me know if I can help. And then they grab your arm and say, you know what, I'm glad you made my day today because I'm a little bit lost. If you could please walk me over to the bus stop sign over there, or wherever they're trying to go. And so we like to be in a natural conversation. If you say, Blake, have you seen the movie? Whatever, that to me is normal talk. And you don't have to be politically correct about talking to people who are blind. You can say, well, I hope you got a chance to see, it's okay to say that because that's just normal. And I'll say, hey, good to see you. And sometimes I make that accident. Someone will say, what do you mean? You're not seeing me, but it's so easy to just talk normal around people. And it makes us feel like we're totally included and that nobody has to walk on eggshells around us.
How many people do you all employ in Dallas? And what is your turnover?
We employ about 190 something people. We have a call center. And we work with the Better Business Bureau in that call center and also the CDC survey. We have about 4 projects going on in the call center. But about 110 people are currently blind or visually impaired. And that's in manufacturing, like I mentioned, about 83% there. Now, our call center is only about 20%, 25% people BVI right now. But we're growing that, and we're making it possible for more and more people who are blind. You have to find a project that's not too extensive sometimes on the pitch, like the Better Business Bureau, when we're trying to get somebody to sign up to be credited. And then we're upselling advertising, which seems to be effective because a lot of people renew that every year with a Better Business Bureau, which is great. But it's a difficult pitch that takes several minutes to get through. So somebody that reads Braille very well has no problem that they've got good communication skills. But it's great to be able to hire 110 people. But I tell you all something, there are over 150,000 people in the 11 counties that we serve between the ages of 18 and 65 who are blind or visually impaired. So we're only scraping the surface. Now, by scraping the surface, we do help about 1,000 people or more a year with our service side. And it's usually a lot more than that. By the time you put in the technology training, orientation, mobility training, how to use my stick belt bruiser here, it's a great place to get that kind of education. So we're able to serve usually around 1,500 people a year. And so that adds up over years. And you hear back from a lot of these people that you helped out. And a lot of them get jobs elsewhere if you teach them how to use the computer well. And let's say you don't have a job, we can help place them sometimes in a good job because of the skills that they just acquired through Envision Dallas.
Like while you were speaking earlier, Mike was showing your website and clips of it. And one of the things on there was the leap of faith. Now, I skydived once, and you had to know whenever you were fixing to hit the ground, the flare. Not being blind, how did you know when to pick your feet up and flare the parachute?
I had the best instructor. His name was Irving, and he had done this so many times with various talented people. I was the first person who was blind that he ever worked with. But Ernie and I got together the day beforehand, and he said, Blake, this is what you can expect. And he kind of showed me how everything was going to go and how we were going to do. And he, was my tandem partner, and he made it so exciting. We went up to 13,500 feet, and it was 30 degrees cooler up there. It was 88 degrees on the ground and 58 degrees up there. So I hit the air doing 140 miles an hour. For the first 2 seconds, that's the biggest buzz of all, and it really shocks you because that's as fast as you're going to go. I didn't realize it, but that is as fast as you're going to travel because you don't actually pick up speed to a certain point. 140 is about it. And so going down, you feel the weather warm up, obviously, as you're headed down. And he said, Blake, I'm going to give you a countdown because the parachute will be open and I'll be able to guesstimate. I'll give you a 5, 4, 3, and then you can do your own 2, 1. So that's exactly how I knew that we were just going to coast down. He said, why don't you just slide in on your behind? It's the easiest way. I used to think it's like jumping off of a 4 or 5 feet ladder, but it's not even that. I mean, we landed like feathers. It was just amazing. And the wind speed that day was 5 to 8 miles an hour. So it was real calm. And that made a big difference also. And I went out to White Rock, Texas, because they didn't want me around any buildings. Around any buildings. anyway, what an experience that was, and what a way to show and you know what, Rotary sponsored that, the downtown Rotary did. And that was great, Camp Enterprise. I was speaking to a group of students, 168 students. They said, Blake, what have you not done yet that you want to do? And for some reason, I blurted out skydive. I don't even know why I said that. And so then I got a call a week later, and I thought, did I say that? Yeah, I guess I did. And so they set it up, and we went up to White Rock, Texas. A lot of Rotarians joined me that day. And so now when I go speak to school students for the last 10 years, fortunately, I don't look a whole lot older than that video yet. I will, I'm sure. But anyway, I go and I talk to school students about diving into our challenges. And the perception of blindness should be positive because, you know, there's a lot of things that we still can do when we're taught the brand new way to do things. And so I enlighten students, it opens up their eyes to be able to see that skydive. I've got a good 5 and 10 minute video of that, a short version and longer. But that's inspired a lot of people to leap into our challenges. Faith and fun all in one. That's what that day was all about for me. I had faith that my parachute was going to open and the Lord was going to see me alive at the end of all that. But it's funny, I was doing a podcast from Sig Ziglar back then, and I did a whole bunch of them that morning just to have them in the bank. Just and I paid all my bills, you know, I paid my electric bill. All my bills were paid in advance. I told my wife, Jennifer, I said, everything's paid up and, you know, I should be fine. I want you to know that I prayed and I feel confident everything's fine, but it was not, I got you caught up on some things. And I got a chance to tell people that I love them a lot too, people that I had good relationships with, which is something we should do often, you know, and we've lost a lot of people through COVID-19 over the last couple of years. And it's just so important for us to share with each other. Hey, I'm thinking about you today. Just wanted to say, hey. And I've noticed that a lot. And it kind of started with my skydiving experience and thinking, hey, something could happen because when you start signing all the dotted lines, they have this, that, the other. Don't sue us for this. Don't sue. It's like, well, if I die, I'm not going to be able to sue you for anything. Don't worry about that. There's a lot of places on that application form that talk about that. And so it really made me think about it a lot. And I came out alive and it was a great experience.
Thank you so much, Blake.
Thank you, everybody. Blindblake.com. If you want to take a tour of Envision Dallas, I want to show you our manufacturing and our programs and the inspiration over there. And if you know anybody who's losing their sight, please send them my way. I'll do them some good and do the best I can for them. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Presentation tonight, like, show them all on here.
Yes, I have a, this is a pen, and it says, Irving Sunrise Rotary, that wanted to give you for speaking today.
It means a lot.
And do you do the,
Yes. This way, 1, 2, 3. 1, 3, 4. Super.
do you do tours on Saturdays?
I might be able to arrange that, particularly we just work Monday through Friday, 6:50 a.m. to 3:20 p.m. We got a school right across the street, so I can hear it out and we're trying to avoid any traffic. But on Saturdays, I might be able to arrange that if that's the only day. But typically Monday through Friday, much better for me.
But I would like to arrange for our group to go and
Like how long is your ride? It's about 40-minute tour, and we could expand it longer than that. Typically, I get through everything in about 40 minutes. And usually really good. I want to see everybody in action. That's important to me. You get to see everybody working. Saturday, unless we're doing overtime, there's little work on Saturday.
Great.
thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And when I spoke to Blake, to send him up through he made a comment that he wants about as we age, how bad our eyes get. And how we were working on compensating. So they have a doctor there now that if you're having issues, they can help you with find good ways to work with what's going on with your eyesight. So time for the full-way test.
This is going to be having forward test.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?